Welcome to the King and Chapman Show. I am Brent Chapman, and with me is the original Fab One, Jimmy
What's up, B?
Woo!
What's going on today? I love the intro again, my brother. Your vocals sound great. The octave was nice.
I don't know
I
that.
love
I
the
tried to go with
inflection.
the high octave there for the Jimmy King. We're trying things out. We're going to land on something, Jimmy, that just is perfect. So,
well, I like all of them. I mean, there's no one thing that's perfect. There's no one, intro that's perfect. Me personally, I love that you put the effort in to make them all different. That's what makes it special.
well, Jimmy, I appreciate that. Today is our first show back from being live on location.
Yeah, live, baby.
At Brookhaven Country Club in Farmers Branch, Texas, which is part of Dallas Metro Fort Worth, for the NBA Retired Players Association annual golf charity invitational. So, Jimmy, everyone has been pinging me. It's just been my phone lighting up. They all want to know the answer to the biggest question. How did Jimmy do on the golf course?
I did okay. We didn't have cameras out there, to actually back me up to prove that I didn't hack up the field, but we did get a couple of holes in. It rained, unfortunately. It came down like cats and dogs, and our day was cut short. But overall, raising money, the charities benefited, and everybody pretty much enjoyed the time for the time that they was out there. So I only got maybe 8 holes in.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
Yeah, because
Did
it
you
was
there
like
a
a wall
winner?
of water.
Did your team win the event? Isn't there usually like a lowest score or something?
Well, there's like a tier, right? So you got like a first tier or flights. You got first flight, second flight, third flight. We were aiming for like the third flight.
Okay, and how did we do? We didn't make it.
Well, we didn't finish. We didn't compete.
Okay.
So or we didn't complete.
Convenient response, Jimmy.
Well, hey, it's Mother Nature. You can't fight Mother Nature.
This is a perfect segue, Jimmy, because your golf game, although as ugly as it is better than what we saw last night. Jimmy, last night was game 1 of the NBA Finals. Our Dallas Mavericks versus the Boston Celtics. I was trying to think of some derogatory name I could call them, but decided not to. It's not like my Kansas City messed up the other day, Jimmy. So it did not go great, Jimmy. We lost the game 107-89, and at times we're down by 29 points. That is not great. Jaylen Brown torched us again. We'll get to that. Kristaps Porzingis used to be on our team. We traded him, and he smoked us. But most importantly, the Celtics shot over 40% from the field, and the Mavs, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy, are you surprised by the game 1 route, and what do you think for the rest of the series?
Yes, I'm surprised. But like we discussed prior to having them take a week off before game 1, it could go 2 ways. It's great for the rest physically, but as far as the camaraderie, the timing, the things that you work for all season, it doesn't take long for you to lose those things. We saw them fight back, get it back third quarter, early fourth quarter, but Boston put the gas to the pedal again, and and pushed the. I think they got it down to 8 points and then pushed the lead back up to 20.
Yeah.
So it was a tough night for our Mavs.
Are the Celtics, do you think that the Celtics that this is the moment, right? They're kind of like, we got here, we've been fighting
Hmm.
to get here. This is
Hmm.
our opportunity. We're up against a pretty beat up Mavs team, regardless of the rest. And let's just go get this done. And that's kind of what it felt like to me. How did it feel to you, Jimmy?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, I think like we discussed this too prior to the finals, particularly with Boston. Boston has been in this position 6 out of the past 8 years, or something close to that. Um, or going to the Eastern Conference
Right.
Finals and getting this deep late into the season, and now their experience that they had in the finals the past few years is helping them get the jump on the Mavericks.
That's right.
So, like, I don't know if you saw the post game interview with Tatum.
I
He
did
was just
not.
saying like he was nervous, but he also knew what to do. But he said it wasn't like a bad nervous; it was a good nervous. He was more anxious. So what that tells me is that he knew what to expect, or at least he felt like he knew what to expect, and he was anxious to get out to play and show what he could do. And he proved it where he only went 6 for 16, getting 11 boards, 5 assists, but he played a good floor game, got his teammates involved. And so if he has a breakout game, who knows? The Mavs might be in serious trouble, but I don't believe that the Mavs are going to lay down like that. I think, that's probably one of their worst outings. I think that's the lowest point total they had this year in the playoffs. So I don't anticipate it, really being a blowout like it was in game one.
Yeah, I surprised? I am surprised, but then when I stop and think about it, not really.
Hmm.
It's at home, and I know that we were leaning on the whole the C's are, 50,
Bad at home,
500 at home.
better on the road.
But when you really think about it, the Mavs were beat up and they were playing with that sort of fighter's mentality, that 12th round, or in the case of the Brent Chapman Boxing League, 30th round, you know, fight to the death mentality. And then they got rested. They got healed a little bit and they got feeling a
Yeah,
little bit better. And
yeah.
that dog needs to come back. And we'll talk about that a little bit longer down in the thing here. But man, Jimmy, uh I have truly underestimated Jalen Brown.
I told you.
It's like, I don't know this name, this Jalen Brown. I don't know who this guy is. He's not LeBron. He's
He's the
not
best. He's the best
Carmelo. He's
player on
not
their team.
Steph. He's not James Harden with the cool big beard. I just didn't get it. And
He's
I've
the he's
seen
the
some.
quiet kid. He's the quiet
That's
kid that when you mess with him at the lunch table, he gets up and beats the brakes off the bully. That's who he is.
Now, Nate, I am going to commit. Nate is our production engineer. Those that don't know, Nate, we gotta get some videos going here because this would be a perfect time to show that fake left, come back right down the lane over three guys, and just bam. I mean, that posterized dunk that he did midway through the second quarter. I'm like, ooh, this guy's good. And
Yeah.
then there was a stretch in the second quarter also when he hit a three, stole the ball from Luca, and then just buried it again with another jam. Right?
Yeah.
This guy is incredible. Jason Tatum is just like a pedestrian walking down the sidewalk here in my neighborhood. Uh, he's and actually that's kind of a funny analogy because you will see these professional athletes walking down the sidewalk, but he is done. Well, not done, but this Jalen Brown guy is just incredible. Is
Absolutely.
Jalen Brown, Jimmy, the best player in the NBA Finals?
Yes, he is right now. I believe that I haven't seen anybody slow him down. He doesn't look like he's slowing down. He's playing both ends of the court. He looks comfortable. I think, again, it's the experience that they had over the past few years, and it's showing now in their confidence level. Jalen looked like, a juggernaut. He doesn't look like he's going to be able to, no one's going to be able to slow him down. So you're going to have to like kind of scheme to do that. But then you open up the door to have Tatum get going. And if you got those two going, that's a big problem. But conversely, you expect that from your stars. Luka, he has some ups and downs. Kyrie got to get going. He had to his standards, a bad game. So, I hope they catch up to what Jalen is doing. What we're watching him doing is some good stuff, some groundbreaking stuff. Because to most people, Jason Tatum by far is the better player. But I think what we're watching now throughout these playoffs, and particularly the first game in the finals, we're seeing Jalen insert himself as that guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree with you, Jimmy. Luka Doncic.
I knew you were.
Luka Doncic.
I know you think Tatum is the guy. Luka's the best player.
Luka is the best player in the NBA Finals.
Well, he's the best player in the league. But
right now, you will see he will be the NBA Finals MVP. Now I didn't get these in order correctly because I should have done this so it would have segued nicely into the next topic. Let's do that. Nate, just skip down to Mavs. We'll get to the lanky 7'9" guy in a minute.
Christos.
We're going to go right into the Mavs with this. Luka, I'm telling you, Jimmy. So, Jimmy, I had a 8-show radio block this morning on Fox Sports Radio talking about the NCAA and NIL. But I got on WBAP in Dallas, and I got on the air, and this is the first thing that I said, and I'm going to say it here to everyone. Don't worry about last night because I was watching the cameras. It was panning through at the end of the game when the guys were on the bench, and I saw the faces of Luka and Kyrie.
Yeah.
And I am telling you, I am absolutely telling you that we are going to be hosting that trophy in American Airlines Center in Game 6 with a 4-2 victory. This is nothing. They don't care. They're going to come back and win Game 2 in Boston. They'll finish out the series in Game 6. Just watch. They don't care.
I hope
you could just see it in their faces. They're just better.
I saw what you saw too. I saw that. I remember when I watched the same thing where they were panning through.
They were panning through,
and I'm like,
oh, Boston's screwed. They're like, whatever.
And their faces,
lost.
And they did not look concerned. Yeah, they did not. They looked like, okay, y'all got us this time. Yeah. Back to the drawing board.
All right, we came out a little weak.
No, yeah,
exactly. So you're with me.
Yeah, I saw that. Absolutely.
Are the Mavs a sleeping bear that just got poked? I like that, Jimmy. The answer is yes. Yes, they are. And that Grizzly.
Well, see, you got the best duo in the league. You have the best duo in the league, and they're not going to let the team down. They're not going to get embarrassed. They're not going to get blown out like that. It was just, we have those games, but as players, you go through that. It happens. The big thing is they got a great coach in Jason Kidd that and a great coaching staff that'll get these guys back to where they should be. And the mix with Porzingis coming back, you just don't know what to expect from him. So you really can't account for him. He's been gone 30 plus days.
Great segue. Nate, go back to Porzingis there. That's a great segue, Jeremy. So Porzingis has missed 10 games and 40 days of action. 40. He looked a little gassed at times, but man, did his presence on the court make a difference, Jimmy. Yes. He scored 11 points in the first quarter, had blocks, 18 to 30, 13 overall, 2 for 4 from 3 points, 6 rebounds, 3 blocks. 20 points. Jimmy,
That's huge.
they needed that. They haven't had that. And it clearly made a difference against the Mavericks last night. Do you think that he'll continue to deliver at this level, or is that kind of like his one game? Or is this going to be a difference maker in this series?
I think he's a difference maker. I think we could expect to see those type of numbers, maybe not 20 points, but getting good looks at the basket, being a forcer, an enforcer on the interior defensively. If you remember, if you replay the game in your mind or you look back at the tape and you watch the Mavs, they're a little hesitant driving to the lane. They're not as quick to attack the gaps and get into the paint with Porzingis down there, and they're doing more step backs. They're taking more threes. When I know that their game plan walking into the game was to make as many twos as possible. Another thing is you got PJ Washington, Jones Jr. Kyrie didn't have a good game. Overall, Lively, who you really expect to be an energy guy, didn't really have the type of game or impact of the game that we normally look for him to have. Green played 20 minutes, only had 3 points. So the production, as far as outside of the main characters or the main stars for the Mavericks, have to pick up if they want to counter Kristaps' production.
Here's what I have to say, Jimmy. Kristaps Porzingis Jelo Igrak. That is Serbian for Porzingis is a garbage player. And that is what my man Luka would say in his song. Now, I'm not going to say swear words and then tell him I was talking Serbian, Lucan. I'm just going to say it in Serbian. He is garbage.
That's impressive, by the way.
Thank you. That, my friends, this is the Brent Chapman technology lesson of the day. That, my friends, is the power of ChatGPT. It just spit it out for me right here while I was on the air. Now, Jimmy, the problem with this is now I know this. So for the rest of this series, you're going to get lots of Brent Chapman speaking Serbian on this show whenever I have something nice to say about the Boston Celtics. No.
That's all right. You know what I'm saying? We won't out your account for Rosetta Stone. We know you got the Rosetta Stone Serbian.
I don't think, Jimmy, that Porzingis is, yes, he has always been regarded as a top prospect and a top player, and he's been traded here and he's traded there, and it never really seems to stick. So am I surprised that he had one really great game when he hadn't played and he was probably really rested and healthy and nobody was really thinking about him because he's kind of useless? No, I'm not. Do I think this will continue? No, I do not think so. I think that'll be the last time that we hear Kristaps Porzingis in the stat line. So, and hopefully we hear a lot more Porzingis Jelo Igrak from Luka. I need him to say that at his press conference. We got to see if we can make that happen. All right, Jimmy, that's enough on the NBA Finals. We're going to have another game on Sunday, correct? And then when we come back Monday, we'll be able to break down Game 2, which I am telling you will be a Mavs W.
All right. Let's go, Mavs. Let's go. Mavs. I'm with you. But again, in order for that to happen, the guys, the role players, and Kyrie, and I'm pretty sure Kyrie is going to have a better game. I'm actually, Kyrie is probably going to put the Mavs on his back and feed off Luka, but towards the end, I think it's going to be Kyrie that really puts the Mavs over the top.
I'm waiting, Jimmy, for a Kyrie game. I don't think we really got one in the conference finals against Minnesota. That was kind of a weird series.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for here in the next game or two, Kyrie to go, all right, bro, and score 30 in the fourth. And it's just like there's nothing that's going to happen. That's going to happen in one of these games. So Jimmy, moving along to another basketball topic. Wow, I was really surprised. So I'm going to answer my question in my opening here. I was shocked when I read that UConn coach Dan Hurley is going all the way from Storrs, Connecticut to LA, California to have a meeting with Vice President of Basketball Rob Pelinka and owner Jeannie Buss to discuss being the next Lakers head coach. He is a two-time back-to-back NCAA national championship coach, including a record 12 straight double-digit victories. Wrap your head around that real quick, Jimmy. And has a top 5 team returning next season. He did let the school know that he's going to interview for the job. So this isn't rumor or innuendo. This is legit. Mm-hmm. Are you shocked to hear Dan Hurley to the Lakers rumors? And more importantly, do you think he should take the job?
Initially, I was shocked to hear that, but then I remembered that he is a two-time back-to-back national champion in the NCAA as a coach. So, that puts it in perspective. I mean, if you're going to look for top coaches at a high level, why not? The guys that are coming out of college, playing at a high level, and he has clearly got these guys' ears, and he got these guys believing in his philosophy and what he's preaching, and they're going out and executing, and he's giving them the power to do so, and they're winning games by double digits. 12 games by double digits is crazy. That's just, that's in line for like all-time greats, not just because you're back to back, but just the way that they won those games. And yes, it is somewhat shocking. But I remember 25, 30, or maybe over 30 years ago that when college coaches won or had some success in the NCAAs and then ended up getting coaching jobs. Rick Pitino ended up at Boston.
That's right.
And there's
Larry Brown.
others. Derek Brown from LSU.
There's been Larry some Brown that haven't worked out. What was the guy with the slick back hair from Florida? Billy Donovan.
Yeah, Billy Donovan. But again, and so just from the history of that, yeah, I can see why the Lakers tapped Dan Hurley to, or at least for an interview. And Rob Pelinka, my ex-teammate, Fab Five teammate,
How did I not know that?
Rob played with Rob, and this is what most people don't understand about Rob.
I didn't know this.
Rob played on the 1989 national team, national championship team. He was one of the veterans on the Fab Five team. He was a veteran on our team. Yep, he was a senior, and even then, he was always thinking the game. He was very intelligent, smart.
That's awesome.
So him bringing in Hurley, I know he's done his homework.
Hold on, Jimmy. Before you continue, I'm going to challenge you on the air. Now is probably not a great time, but you got to get Rob Pelinka on the King and Chapman Show.
Deal.
And I don't want to talk about Dan Hurley. I want to talk about 1990 freshman Jimmy King. That's what I want to talk about Rob Pelinka with.
You know what's crazy? Rob is going to tell you what I told you. He's going to tell you what I told you. I'm the man. I'm the man.
I think that would be awesome. If we could ever swing that, that would be a very fun conversation.
We're working on that. Hold on. Let me write that down. Rob. GM Lakers. We got him. We got to get him on here. We got another guy too that that's close. He was actually a coach on the team, but he's a former GM for the Knicks. Scott Perry. We could tap him too.
It's amazing, Jimmy, how many great players, coaches were part of that team. I mean, everyone knows the obvious names, right? But the fact that it's so deep really does speak to what was built there, right? And how great that was. Now, this isn't about the University of Michigan 1991. This is about Dan Hurley. Do you think, Jimmy, that your boy Rob Pelinka should hire Dan? Do you think that he can be successful at the NBA level?
Absolutely, I do. I do think he could be successful. I think he has the temperament for it. I think the biggest thing that I look for is one is the philosophy. I think that he has the knowledge to play the pro style game. The wherewithal to go through that gauntlet. 82 games, long season, dealing with men, not boys, or not, men becoming or boys becoming men. And I think that he's tough enough, right? Like you got guys that come into the pros who are pushovers. They don't necessarily have the type of personality that will fit in a professional locker room. So the message will get muddled, or the message will then not be heard the way that it should. It's kind of like the transition of like Caitlin Clark. Caitlin is just so fresh out of college. She still doesn't know how to play the pro game
That's
yet.
right.
She's still doing well. She's still going to be successful, but you have to give her time. And it's the same with coming into the league, even on the coaching level. I think Dan has what it takes to be successful. And the biggest thing that I could point to for him is his moxie. It's his how he presents himself. Even he's feisty. I've seen him yell at the fans. I've seen him go after fans in the stands. He's my type of guy, and that's something that in the NBA that guys are going to be willing to get behind if he chooses to take the job.
Well, I definitely think that whenever you have, and we talked about this, Jimmy, with Jim Harbaugh, right? And that situation with him going to the NFL. I think that when you're a coach at that level, right, you either, and I said this about Harbaugh, you either want to be a college coach and you'll do that for your career because that's your true passion, or you really, really, really deep down in your heart and soul are a pro guy and college is something that's kind of part of the journey or that you find yourself really good at.
Right.
And so,
Rarely you
honestly,
get the
if I were friends with Dan Hurley, what I would say to him is, and he probably knows this, is what are you, Dan? Do you really, really, really love the pro game and that's a journey that you've always wanted to be on? Or are you content and happy and you've reached the pinnacle in college? Because if you don't, I'm telling you, Jim Harbaugh didn't want to be a college coach. I mean, he can do it, and he did fine at Stanford and at Michigan. I mean, he won national championship, right? So obviously, he's a great coach, and he did it for his alma mater. But he's a pro guy, and he wanted to be a pro coach. That's it. That's who he is. That was his dream when he was a kid. He wanted to do that, right? What does Dan Hurley want?
Correct.
I don't know the answer to that question, but I suspect
he may want it, and he may want it.
Doesn't, if
He may feel
he should
he
stay
may
right
feel like
there in
he wants
Utah.
it. He may feel like he wants it, but when you get into that mix, it's a whole different ballgame. I'll give you an example.
I guess what
John Beeline, I'll give you an example. John Beeline was doing great at the University of Michigan, and he chose to make the jump to the Cleveland Cavaliers. He didn't make it through the season. He resigned halfway through the season. It's because, like, in my opinion, his personality of coaching guys in the league didn't fit. So that's why he, recognized that, and he was like, you know what? I'm out. Like I'll
Yeah, but I
gracefully
think, Jimmy,
bow
I
out.
guess what I'm saying is it's like inside you when you're laying at bed in the morning or when you were a kid, you have dreams.
And
Dreaming
that's
of
what I
being
was
an
getting
NBA
at.
head coach. I don't think Jim Beeline dreamed of
But,
being an
but,
NBA head
but this
coach.
is what I'm saying. I think over time, right, it start to creep in. Like, you know what?
I could
Maybe I
do
could
it.
check. Maybe I could.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do this
Or
too at
your
that
agent
level.
tells you
Like I'm,
your
I'm
agent.
putting guys into the league. I got
Yeah.
guys going through my program getting drafted as lottery picks. Yeah, I could coach these guys,
Yeah. Or you
but
got
it's a
your agent.
different ball game.
Yeah, or you got your agent telling you, "Come on, dude, I know you like the college game, but yeah, just go give this a try for a couple of years. If you don't like it, you can just come right back." Right?
Yeah,
That's what
don't
I
make that
mean.
mistake and listen to your agent.
No,
The
that
agent
that
works for you.
but that's what I'm saying, Jimmy, is that's where Dan Hurley needs to sit. For me, I would pray about it and I would
Yeah,
really think about
absolutely.
what do I want to do, because he is actually in a really, really great situation. A
He is.
situation
He
where
just
he could
resigned.
stay until he was old and decrepit, right? He could be, yeah, I can't think of one of those guys that just
John Thompson,
yeah, John Thompson just stayed forever, or what was the Notre Dame? Lou Holtz,
Lou
right? He
Holt,
could just stay forever. Joe Paterno, but minus
Benny
the stuff.
Crum.
Yeah, he could stay there forever if he wanted. So I think he really needs to consider: am I a pro coach, and is this what I want to do, or am I just going to do this to try this? If that's the case, I would say don't do it. Stay where you are. All
I
right,
agree.
Jimmy.
I agree.
We are moving on to our favorite topic on the King and Chapman Show. There is a man love between you, me, and Iron Mike
Iron
Tyson. There he is. There's
Yeah,
our guy.
look
Hey,
at him.
he
And just
is
in
gonna
those pictures alone,
he is
right?
gonna beat
I,
the
I like that. I have concern for Paul, man. Like that picture right there draws concern.
well,
He looks
Jimmy.
he looks a little like I would have any pictures of me smiling. Like we're going in for business. We're going in to handle business.
Uh,
He looks a little too laxed for me.
Well, Jimmy, I got some bad news for you. That beat down
No.
that Jake Paul is going to be taking is going to be pushed
No.
back. The
No.
bad news is, though the good news is it's still here in Dallas, so we got to get our tickets. The bad news for Jake Paul is he ain't going to be having Thanksgiving turkey when his mouth is wired shut. November 15th. The fight has been moved from July 20th to November 15th. Jimmy,
That's good
are
for
you
Jake.
are you disappointed that the fight has been postponed?
I am disappointed. However, I am so happy because this is how God works, right? God works in mysterious ways.
He
I'm
does
telling you, I think this helps him to at least get what 4 more months in
of
where
training.
of training where he can at least for the eye test for me not look like he's going to get slaughtered in the ring because I'm serious concerned about his health. Like Mike is not playing, and Jake, when I watch his training, doesn't look like he's on the level. Like it just looks like it's not going to be a good fit for him when he goes into that
You
ring.
know, you said something, Jimmy, that made me think about a great analogy for Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is like a very old pit bull, a pit bull that is tired and old and maybe on his very last legs.
Right.
At the end of his doggy life, maybe
Yeah.
90 doggy years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then somebody comes up to him and kind of messes with him a little bit,
Uh-huh.
and he's still a pit bull.
You're right.
And
That's
there's
right.
nothing you're going to do to change that. And if you
Nothing.
want to fight with a pit bull, you're going to get eaten, bro.
You're
And I
in
think
for a
that
fight.
I think
And
that Jake Paul seems a 57-year-old man and doesn't realize he's going to fight a pit bull.
it doesn't matter, right? Exactly. Exactly. It doesn't matter how old he is. It only takes one. It only takes one.
He's
Just
Mike
one
Tyson.
lucky one. Eat both ways. But I'm not concerned about Paul getting Mike. You know what I mean? I don't see that being a problem.
Now,
Mike
Jimmy,
Mike bites.
Jimmy, this gives me an idea. We should try to get on Radio Row for the Tyson Paul fight.
Absolutely.
That's what we should try to do, because I would
I
love
know
to
some
have
people in the
some.
media just like you do. We could We could go. We could, we solicit some people and make some phone calls and see what we could do.
We can be we can be down in Radio Row for the Tyson Paul fight. Well, Jimmy, I will tell you, I am incredibly disappointed. That was literally the highlight of my summer was to see this fight. Actually, my son, Jimmy Morrison, the younger one, heard you talking about the fight. He watches the King and Chapman Show, 8 years old. And he said he wanted to come with Uncle Jimmy to see the Tyson fight.
Let's do it. Done deal.
He said, wait, Dad, you're going with Uncle Jimmy. Can I come? And I said, let's do it. We'll take you to maybe we can get you in for a little no, you don't want to get too close to the pit bull before the fight.
Oh yeah. We want to see it. We want to see snot flying out the nose. We want to see sweat dripping down. Well, I want to hear Jake Paul when Tyson give him a body blow. I want to hear him whimper. That's what I want to hear.
Well, you're going to hear lots of whimpering. You might.
You remember that fight Mike Tyson had when he gave the post fight interview? He told the interviewer that he could hear the guy making noises when he hit him. Mike said every time he hit him, he was like, ooh, ooh. And Jake Paul is going to be doing the same thing. He's going to get him to drop that elbow, go get on them body shots, be like, ooh, ooh. Then he's going to hit him right on top of his head, like Donkey Kong. Wow, and knock him out.
He's not going to take enough punches to go, ooh, ooh. He's going to be down. Jimmy, last word. I would like to go first on the last word. You may remember over Memorial Day weekend, I went to Charleston, South Carolina to celebrate my birthday, and I got to see a concert. And so big shout out to, we got it right here, Judah and the Lion. If you haven't listened to Judah and the Lion, great band, along with Need to Breathe, which is my favorite band, Jimmy, right now, Need to Breathe. So shout out to Need to Breathe and Judah and the Lion. I'm sporting the gear on the King and Chapman Show. Final thoughts from you, Jimmy.
That's dope. And happy belated birthday, my brother. I'm glad you enjoyed your trip. I'm glad you're back and you have fun. My final thought is Jaylen Brown is the best player on the Boston Celtics.
Luka.
Now, that's no disrespect to JT because he's a beast too. I'm not saying that. Actually, I'm not really saying that Jaylen is like definitively better than him, but I think that right now he's playing better overall on both ends of the court, and that says a lot because JT is playing phenomenal. So I think that just to give Jaylen his props. For what he's doing and his role with the Celtics, kudos to him for stepping up.
And I'm going to end the show on a Chat GPT. Jasam Najobli. I am the best. Serbian.
I love it.
Doncic is the best, bro. Period. That's it for today's show. Go Mavs. Peace.
Peace.